Hello and welcome back to the Not That Oscar channel or podcast. This is a combination of the two. Today, we're doing a little preview of what's to come in the rest of the year. We're entering the final third, nearly in Q4 for my business majors out there, I don't know. But we basically have September, October, November, December, and there's some huge releases. And it's my duty to make sure you guys know what films are coming out, the best ones to keep an eye out for, add them to your calendar, make sure you go to the cinema and check them out. Here's everything that I have to say about the upcoming 20-ish movies based over the 4 months. We'll kickstart pretty quickly, to be honest. Quick reminder before we jump into things, make sure you're following me over on TikTok at Not That Oscar, obviously on Spotify and YouTube where you're watching this now, and pretty much on all social media, Not That Oscar. You can find me. There's merch coming out. I'm wearing one of them. Maybe I'll put up some little pictures for you. Enjoy those. That's coming out this Friday, which for you guys will be in a couple of days' time. 28th, I believe the Friday is for you. Shall we talk about what exciting movies are coming up over the next couple of months? Because there's some serial bangers. So starting off September, we've got a documentary of all things, actually. This is the Oasis Don't Look Back in Anger documentary. Of course, look, Oasis reunited for the first time in eons to do a tour, to do the Oasis Live 25. I think I looked at getting tickets for this one, ultimately decided against it, tickets for the tour. I've got my ticket for the documentary. Now, musical documentaries I struggle with because we had Billie Eilish earlier this year, which was done by James Cameron as well as her. And I was like, oh, this is going to be cool. And it's in 3D. And I'm like, oh, this has got some fun elements. And it's basically just a concert. It was more of like a concert film rather than a documentary. So I was a little bit misled going into it. But it was, look, if you're a Billie Eilish fan, I'm sure you would have loved it. I think everybody will enjoy Oasis, their documentary, Don't Look Back in Anger, because not only is it a documentary at their coming together, but you will have some music, the tension behind them. You know, these brothers famously fell out after being probably one of the biggest bands in the entire world. And it's kind of crazy that they kind of gave up on that for so long. Obviously, they had their differences, and neither one would apologize. And it will really look into their lives. So it's going to explore sort of the meteoric rise to fame that Oasis had, all the way through untold stories and new footage through to this new tour. So I think it's going to be really exciting, and that's probably the first film out of this 20-odd movies that I'm really excited to get stuck into, which is swiftly followed up. So that's on the 9th of September. Swiftly followed up on the 18th of September, we have Zach Cregger's Resident Evil. Now, I'm a huge Resident Evil fan, both the games and even the original movies, which are pretty terrible, but there's some kind of quirkiness that brings me comfort about them. So this new movie by Zach Cregger, who's previously done Barbarian and Weapons, which I'll be watching very soon to sort of prep myself for this new movie. He's brilliant at horror, clearly, and he does that comedy horror trope very well. What's intriguing about this is it's completely unrelated to the games, which is not like the original movies that had quite a lot of links. I think Umbrella, who are basically the company that leak a bioweapon that cause people to turn into zombies, they are in this movie in some capacity, but very much referenced rather than a key plot point. So it'll be interesting to see how Zach sort of adapts this. You know, we've got a very solid fan base and structure and plot synopses that we're all very used to and aware of. But we have none of that in this movie. And there will be references and stuff. I think Zach Cregger has said he's going to like tease some things that were in the games, but this is a new told story. So look, I'm excited by it. I trust Zach when it comes to horror movies. He's probably one of my favorite directors working right now. Other ones up there would probably be the likes of Dan Trachtenberg, if I was to throw two names in there. Greta Gerwig, I think, is very exciting. And Olivia Wilde recently. So very excited by that. That's 18th of September. Then 25th of September is a very busy day for September. There could be 4 big films coming out on this day. So up first is Hope. Now this is directed by Na Hong Jin, the brilliant mind behind The Wailing and The Chaser, 2 very unsettling crime drama thrillers. Now, Hope is a movie that I saw back at Cannes Film Festival. A reminder, if you want to, go check out the vlog that I did at Cannes Film Festival. There will be more vlogs throughout this year. I'm going to London Film Festival. I'm actually going as press, so that's very exciting. So make sure you subscribe and keep up to date with London Film Festival. And we'll do previews for that one, of course. Ben will be on the podcast to chat about that. But I saw Hope back at Cannes Film Festival, and it was one of the last films I saw, if not the last film I saw. I can't quite remember. but it's this absolutely just insane, low budget action thriller. So in the remote South Korean village of Hope Harbor, police chief Bum Suk and officer Sung A are called to investigate a mysterious creature wreaking havoc on the community. But all is not as it seems, and perceptions can be misleading. What begins as ignorance plants the seed of disaster, escalating through human conflict into a tragedy of cosmic proportions. I mean, if that hasn't already sold you, let me break it down for you. Hope is pretty much about two police officers that lead the investigation into aliens that have come to Earth. And they're not any old kind of alien, they're like transformers. They can basically go from these 12-foot abominations into wolf-like speed demons that will chase you through the woodlands. And it's what's so amazing about this movie is it's kind of split into three parts. It has some of the greatest action chase sequences I've seen in years. It's very reminiscent of like Michael Bay mixed with Alien. I'd say those are it's like a Ridley Scott Michael Bay amalgamation. It's got some really big names in it. Michael Fassbender plays one of the creatures. Not that you really can tell that it's him, but it's okay. Now, this movie was built off about $33 million, which is actually not a lot, but is the highest or most expensive South Korean movie I think ever made, which is kind of wild, or certainly up there. It had a bit more of funding injected into it after Cannes Film Festival because snobs at the festival were like, oh, it looks really bad. I can understand that the creatures, their original design, the SFX looked, and VFX looks kind of like plain, but it's had a bit more funding. I think it had like another 8 or 9 million put into it, and I've heard it looks a lot better, and I cannot wait to rewatch this. This was genuinely one of my favorites of the festival. It's such an insane, wild ride. You're either gonna love it or hate it. There is no in between. A lot of my friends gave it 2 stars, and a lot of my friends gave it 4.5 or 5 stars. So swings and roundabouts. It's really exciting. 25th of September, we also have Avengers Endgame Encore. Now, this is the re-release of Avengers Endgame with some great new color grading. Now, there's been a lot of chatter online around, oh my God, doesn't Avengers Endgame Encore look amazing? Actually, now I will go see it, as well as getting footage of Doomsday, which we'll talk about in a second. But shouldn't we have had that good color grading to start off with? I mean, I'm going to be putting up pictures here of the color grading differences. It's wild. But why couldn't we do this the first time round? Is that too much to ask for? I mean, like I love Endgame. All right, I thought it was great. I think I'd have it like a 4 stars. But when you like deep it as like a cinematic film, there are many elements of it that are like, okay, guys, we might cut some corners here, or this looks really bland and boring. So I'm glad they refreshed it. The main reason we're all going to see this movie is because it has direct ties to Avengers Doomsday, which is interesting because Endgame, not only was it the end of the Infinity Saga and Thanos, but it was sort of the beginning of our lead into Kang and what would have been the Kang dynasty, and still would have been Secret Wars. Now, I don't know whether they're going to change the ending of Endgame, or it will just be a post-credit scene or a prologue of Doomsday. I haven't quite figured out what they're going to do, but it will be really intriguing because none of these characters knew that Doctor Doom was a threat, and now with no build-up, he's the biggest threat we've ever had across 2 movies, and then he'll be gone again. It feels very weird, and I am concerned, of course, on many levels, and yet quite excited because I do trust the Russo brothers to pull it off in terms of like a visual cinematic event. Whether I trust Marvel to be able to piece together a story good enough, I don't know. I think we'll have to wait and see. That's Avengers Endgame Encore. On the same day, we also have a new original animated movie from DreamWorks, the legends that are DreamWorks, called Forgotten Island. Now, I'm really excited by this one because not only is it original concept, but it's the voice cast is her, H-E-R, Liza Soberano, and Dave Franco, which is really exciting. Now, the animation style of this looks really cool. It also blends animation styles, if I'm not mistaken. There's a bit like anime in there as well, which is really cool. But I don't know whether this will be a big hit at the box office, but it'll be a big hit in my heart, and I think that's more important than anything else. And we know that DreamWorks can do really cool villains. Here are some examples of my favorite DreamWorks villains. Embarrassing if I didn't edit those in. I think I will. But I like DreamWorks a lot. They are one of my favorite animation studios, so I trust them, certainly. I mean, look, they bought us the likes of Shrek, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, Wild Robots, Kung Fu Panda, Madagascar, Megamind, How to Train Your Dragon, The Bee Movie. You like jazz? So there's lots to be excited about, to be honest, by this one. That comes 25th September. And then in an unknown date in September, before we move on, is Prime Time. One of my most anticipated movies, maybe of the entire year, certainly of this final part of 2026. This is the well, not reimagining, but this is a film about the To Catch a Predator host Chris Hansen and his show To Catch a Predator. It's going to be wildly entertaining. I mean, Robert Pattinson is maybe the greatest actor working today. He's certainly my favorite actor working today, and he's in my top 3 favorite actors of all time. I don't know what more to say. You've seen the trailer. It looks wild. It looks wicked. He's got the voice down. You see how this looks, right? And so much more. I think it's going to be really intense and beautiful insights. It's a crime thriller drama, semi biopic in kind of a way. It's really intriguing. I'm hyped for this one, and I think a lot of you are out there as well. And if you're not, join the list. What are you doing? So that's September. Let me know in the comments, what are you most excited for in September? Oasis, Resident Evil, Hope, Avengers Endgame Encore, Forgotten Island, or Prime Time. If there's something else that I've missed, make sure you comment and let me know. Let's go on to October for you. Don't want you to miss any of these. These are huge. 2nd of October, we have Digger. Okay, this is the Tom Cruise Inarritu team up about a billionaire that causes a global catastrophe, and he must save the planet. This might be the first time that people have seen Tom Cruise in a non-action role. Obviously, plenty of us have seen him in Eyes Wide Shut, or I'm trying to think of any other movie that isn't an action movie. All of a sudden, I nearly said Jack Reacher, action movie. Top Gun, action movie. Mission Impossible, action movie. Collateral, action movie. You get the point, right? Everyone's used to him being this action star, this blockbuster hero. Now, I do think Digger will do very well, but it is certainly a different tone for Tom. Inarritu's very good at doing the sort of intense action thrillers as well, with a cut through of drama and maybe a little bit of comedy. I love Revenant. I've got it on physical somewhere behind me. You might be able to spot it if you've got eagle eyes and can see through the blur. But it's going to be really exciting that a lot of people see Tom in this role for the first time. So excited by Digger. It apparently has an insane budget. Who's doing it? Warner Brothers. It's got like a 200 million budget, like around then. So, and I have a friend that works in VFX, and I'm pretty sure she knows some parts about it, and she said that it goes wild. That sort of like second and third act, it's pretty insane. So I'm really excited by this one. Really, really hyped. Next up that's on the 2nd of October, by the way. On the 16th of October, we have Whaleful. Look, this isn't going to be a blockbuster by any kinds, but I think I'm just incredibly excited by it. It's Austin Abrams, who is in Resident Evil, as a a diver who gets swallowed by a sperm whale and has 60 minutes of oxygen to survive. Now, the movie is, I think, like a swift 100 minutes. So whether we will get 40 minutes of footage beforehand, before he enters the whale, or the 60 minutes will be elongated, it would be quite cool if the 60 minutes in the whale is actually the 60 minutes that we see. It looks cool. Look, I think it's going to be one of the sort of fun action movies we have to round out. It's not quite the summer in October, is it? It's very much the fall. But cool nonetheless. Jumping straight into the end of October, 23rd of October, we have Clayface. This is DC's first sort of deep dive into something we've never ever seen before. Okay, Clayface exists in Creature Commandos and the games, but we've never even seen him on screen before in this capacity. It's an R-rated horror movie, which is exciting in itself. Who is it? Like partially written by Mike Flanagan, who is just the absolute goat. Yeah, screenplay by Mike Flanagan, the goat of horror. So, I mean, it's directed by James Watkins, who has previously done Eden Lake, Speak No Evil. Like he's certainly like he did the Woman in Black as well? I think he did the Woman in Black. Definitely integrated into the horror genre very much so. Mike Flanagan, oh my god, Haunting of Hill House, Midnight Mass, Life of Chuck, Haunting of Bly Manor, Fall of House of Usher, Doctor Sleep, Gerald's Game, Midnight Club. Oh my god, this man has done so many things. Carrie, the new Carrie series or movie that's coming out, Oculus, Exorcist, the new one. Oh my god, this man is booked and busy for obvious reasons. I mean, he's the goat. So really excited by Clayface. Let me tell you a little bit about it. Let me get up my note on it here. Rising Hollywood star Matt Hagen descends into a horrifying revenge-filled monster when a scientific ambition strips him of his identity and humanity. It genuinely looks quite terrifying. It's got Naomi Ack in it, who I'm a gigantic fan of. Very, very, very excited for this one. And I think it will stand out to a lot of you as well. So it's a big swing. It's a big swing for DC because they've been quite miss recently. I know people like Peacemaker and people like Creature Commandos. I just didn't really tap in. Superman I thought was fine. I gave it like 3 stars out of 5. Supergirl I gave 2 stars. Lanterns, I'm at like a 2.5 or 3 star after 2 episodes so far. Just feels like a very generic cop show to me at the moment, but that's okay. I'm holding out hope. And it's exciting that James Gunn is letting these other directors have like a complete control of their own projects. On the same day, we have Wildwood. Now, this comes from Laika Studios. I've got a couple of really interesting things to say about Laika. First of all, they did the movie that you love and adore, Coraline, Kubo and the Two Strings, Link, and there's one other in there. But what's really interesting about Wildwood is it's the longest stop-motion movie ever made. 2 hours and 28 minutes. Now, the owner, or like the CEO of Laika Studios, is this amazing guy who is just obsessed with creating art in this manner. Anyway, so it's run by this guy called Travis Knight. Now, you might be thinking, Oscar, Travis Knight, I feel like I recognize that surname. Yes, well, Phil Knight is the American billionaire businessman who co-founded Nike. And he basically funds his son, Travis, to run a stop-motion studio. So even though Laika don't really make much money, they put hundreds of millions into these films. And I think Coraline is their highest grossing, like 150. It's a studio that loses money. But it doesn't matter because you have billionaire Philip Knight funding this so that Travis can go and do what he likes. And that's amazing. And I'm not saying Nike are the perfect company in the world, but it's pretty damn close if you're going to be helping produce stuff like this. So Travis Knight is a genius at what he does. Shout out to Phil Knight for helping him fund it. And I'm sure like Travis makes his own money. He's busy directing other stuff. He did just do Masters of the Universe. I'm pretty sure Travis directed that, which is kind of wild because it's like, you have such creativity with your other movies, and then you've gone and produced, this. Masters of the Universe, so he did Paranorman, Box Trolls, Kubo and the Two Strings, Bumblebee, Missing Link, Masters of the Universe, and now Wildwood. And he was an animator on Coraline as well. And I just love it. I hope like it goes on forever because it is such a wonderful studio, and it's important that we sort of keep funding that. Now, another film coming out at the end of October that's very exciting is a film called Your Mother, Your Mother, Your Mother. Now, this stars the absolutely brilliant Mahershala Ali and John Cho, Giancarlo Esposito, Trammell Tillman. It's a stacked cast, and it's directed by a guy called Bassam Tariq. Now, you might be thinking, I vaguely recognise those names. Well, you know who Mahershala Ali is. He's in the not very good Jurassic World Rebirth. He's in Green Book. He's in Leave the World Behind. He's in Into and Across the Spider-Verse. He plays Uncle Aaron in those movies. He's in Alita Battle Angel. Like, he's a really brilliant actor, but I still don't feel like he's been unlocked enough. Anyway, he was meant to be Blade, right? Now, Bassam Tariq was also meant to direct Blade. That project fell through. Bassam wasn't going to direct it. He stayed on as a producer. Mahershala stayed on as Blade. And it went for about 6 years of just circles and circles and circles, nothing happening. but Sam left the project entirely. Mahershala left the project entirely, and they've teamed up to make this brilliant action drama crime thriller about a man that wields a blade. So Latif, a devoutly religious hitman, struggles to balance work, faith, and fatherhood. And when his wife dies, he embarks on a desperate journey across Houston to protect his children, confronting the forces closing in around him and the beliefs threatening to unravel within. It just sounds divine. Yeah, I mean, Mahershala playing a hitman that wields a blade. It's basically the movie that we need. It's called Your Mother, Your Mother, Your Mother, and it comes out in the US. I think they have an actual release date of, they've got limited 25th of September, so probably a couple of weeks later it'll be wide. The UK has an October release date, but we don't have like the number on it. But I'm still very excited by it. Let's take a quick break. I'm going to quickly remind you to check out the TikTok at Not That Oscar. Check out the merch at www.ntoclothing.com. It comes available this Friday. It's very cool. We've got limited edition Halloween merch that will be available. I'll put up some pictures for you here. And we have the long-running See You at the Movies merch as well in TV static form. Very excited by those. If you just click the links down below, you'll find everything. I really appreciate all the support and everything that everyone shows. Make sure you subscribe, follow. If you're watching this or listening on Spotify, rate the show 5 stars. Certainly helps me out. Let's jump into November and December. All right, November's probably the most busy month of all. We've got a stacked November 6th. I mean, we're kicking off the month at 100% speed, okay? 6th of November. Godzilla -1. I mean, if you guys haven't already checked into... Sorry, this is Godzilla -0. We've already had Godzilla -1. So it's a follow-up from its first movie. Limited budget. Directed by a brilliant director called Takashi Yamazaki. There you go. Who I hadn't really known about. I mean, done lots of like Japanese films that just didn't make their way over here. And really brought himself to fame, I'd say, with Godzilla -1, which is just one of the most beautiful looking Godzilla movies I think we've ever had. And Godzilla -0 is certainly going to follow up on that. So that's an instant, like, everybody has to have that on their watch list. On the same day, we have Wild Horse 9, directed by Martin McDonagh, who had done In Bruges, Banshees of Inisherin, Seven Psychopaths. Like, this is a known and loved director. About pushing 60 now, and only done like 4 or 5 major movies. And I'm like, fair enough. Look, take your time, but we want more from you, Martin. So Wild Horse 9 stars John Malkovich, Sam Rockwell, Steve Buscemi. It's a comedy crime thriller, very much in the same lane of In Bruges and Banshees of Inisherin. Shortly before the 1973 Chilean coup, CIA agents Chris and Lee are dispatched from Santiago to Easter Island by their bureau chief, MJ. Amongst the island's iconic statues, as the longtime partners wrestle with their dark pasts and present conspiracies, Chris' newfound bond with a pair of rebellious students threatens to send everyone's trip to this remote paradise sideways. Now, I have heard from people that have already seen this movie that it is incredible. I've heard like Oscar talk. I've heard Sam Rockwell at his peak. I'm very excited for this one. I mean, I know very little about it, but I trust the director with my life practically. And sometimes that's all you really need to go off. He's a producer. He wrote it, Martin McDonagh. Like, if someone's writing, producing, and directing, they're so integrated into this movie. You know that you can trust them. Now, the cinematographer is someone that I also really like. Previously done Banshees of Inisherin, 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, Eternals, Guardians of the Galaxy, Avengers Age of Ultron, Doctor Strange, Kick-Ass, The King's Man, Kraven the Hunter, Seven Psychopaths, Layer Cake, Dumbo. Like, the cinematographer has such a wild collection of movies to their name. But all of them, if you think about it, they all look pretty good. So I think this is going to be a visual treat as well as something for our brain to sort of pick apart. On the same day, we also have I Play Rocky, directed by Peter Farrelly, the guy that did Green Book. Now, I quite like Green Book. Some people don't. The trailer for this, it's phenomenal. So the guy playing Rocky, or Sylvester Stallone, is Antonio Ippolito. I'm going to go with that one. He's got the accent nailed. He looks like that. This is a biopic about how Sylvester Stallone got Rocky made. and the ups and downs. I mean, he was told no for years and years and years, and he wanted to play Rocky himself after putting together this screenplay. It's an incredible story that I know a bit about anyway. But if you're a fan of the Rocky movies, you're going to get to relive the creation of that first Rocky movie and a little bit more into the life of Sylvester Stallone. I just think it's going to be brilliant. I cannot wait for this one. That shares the day with Wild Horse 9 and Godzilla Minus Zero on the 6th of November. Just a week later, we have one of my favourites from Cannes Film Festival. This is Fjord, that won the Palme d'Or as well. This is a really intriguing crime drama about a family that move from Romania to Norway, and they quickly integrate themselves into the community. They're loved by everyone. They seem really sweet, but are then accused of child abuse, of beating their children. And it's this unbelievable tale of community and deception. It's this like courtroom drama as well. It's all about who you trust, people's perception of you, and how people's perception of you can change so quickly. And the performance from Sebastian Stan and Renate Reinsve, who lead this movie, are truly something. And it's really a movie that you need to be locked in for. If you're known for checking your phone, this isn't for you. It's dialogue heavy, I will warn you of that, but it looks great. I mean, Norway's such a wonderful backdrop. There's a lot of subtitles because you've got to read multiple languages here. So, look, I would say everybody should go watch it, but if I will pre-warn you, if you're not good at that kind of thing, don't ruin the theatre experience for everyone else, because it's a wild ride. The end of the month, we have Hunger Games: Sunrise on the Reaping. Now, I don't really know much about the Hunger Games lore. I've seen all except Mockingjay Part 2, which is, I've enjoyed the Hunger Games movies. I'm not obsessed with them, but they're certainly fun in parts. I think Catching Fire is probably the best. I haven't seen Ballads of Songbirds and Snakes, or whatever that one's called, but I'm really excited by Sunrise on the Reaping. Not only because it's based on the Court of Quell, so like the 25th Hunger Games, but it looks beautiful. I mean, like, the color grading on this one is wild. It's so nice to see directors and cinematographers and producers use color. I know that feels like the most obvious statement of all, but you'd be surprised. So Hunger Games: Sunrise on the Reaping, it got a shout out for me. If you know some lore about this movie, feel free to let me know in the comments. I'm just excited by it nonetheless. And 27th of November, another original animated movie. This is Disney's Hexed. I think it's going to be a standout of sort of the end of summer as well. There's also like a potential that in November we're getting Paper Tiger, which is a James Gray movie, the man behind Ad Astra, Lost City of Z. Movies that are known but maybe not loved. Like, I'm not a huge Ad Astra fan, but James Gray has put together this incredible mafia crime thriller. Lots of crime thrillers this end of the year, that stars Adam Driver and Miles Teller at their very best, as well as Scarlett Johansson, of course. Two brothers become entangled in a scheme that turns out to be too good to be true. As they try to navigate their way through the dangerous world of the Russian mafia, family bonds begin to fray with life-altering consequences. It has one of the greatest shootout scenes I've ever seen. It makes me want Adam Driver to be a James Bond kind of character. It's wildly tense. It looks beautiful. The score's fantastic. That's another shout out for November. It might come out on the same day as Disney's Hexed. I don't quite know yet. We're waiting on an official release date here in the UK. Now, December, to wrap up this sort of little snippet episode, to prepare you guys, make sure you know what's up and coming. But there's only 3 movies I want to shout out in December. You know what 2 of them are. So let's start with Behemoth. This is a movie directed by Tony Gilroy, who did the Bourne Legacy movie, Duplicity, and Michael Clayton. Like, Michael Clayton by far his best. Behemoth stars Pedro Pascal, Olivia Wilde, Eva Victor, Will Arnett. Crazy cast. A gifted cellist, Alex Sarian, returns home to Los Angeles after 20 years on the road. Music, which has been the constant all-consuming river of his life, begins to carry Alex on an adventure that will change him forever. I know so little about this musical drama, but I like Tony Gilroy. I trust Pedro. I've heard along the grapevine, this is his performance. Like, this is the one that makes you go, that's why studios love Pedro so much. We've not really had a musical drama for a long time. I know we have the debut next year, which is sort of along those kind of lines, from Jesse Eisenberg. But Behemoth, for me, the trailer looks incredible. It's not really showing us too much. I'm locked in for this one. Let's get on. Let's get on to the next two. All right, you know what's coming here. It is Doomsday, 18th of December. One of the biggest days in cinematic history. Whether you like it or not, that's a fact. Doomsday and Dune Part 3. Which one do you see first? Which one do you see twice? It's going to be hard to pack these into the same day. Dune Part 3 has IMAX. Doomsday doesn't, so they created their own format to try and pretend like that's the most, best way to watch it. If you're going to be watching in the cinemas, it's probably going to be as good as possible. You watch it on your cinema's biggest screen. It's not going to quite be IMAX, but that's okay. Maybe it'll get an IMAX run later, in 2027. Who knows? Doomsday or Dune Part 3. I haven't quite decided which one I'm going to go see first. I'm going to be honest. I'm kind of hoping I might get an invitation to an early screening for one of them. I would imagine more than anything, I might get a Dune Part 3 screening at IMAX. I don't know whether I'd get to go to a premiere. That'd be kind of crazy. But they sometimes do, like, I'm not an influencer, but like creator screenings and stuff like that. So that'd be amazing if I could go to that. I'd be eternally grateful. And of course, I'd vlog it and stuff like that. Doomsday, I've said this. I'm nervous about Doomsday. I don't know how they're going to pull it off. The Fantastic Four know Doctor Doom, Victor very well, but it wasn't addressed in their movie. But it is going to be, a heavy part in this film. Is this basically just Fantastic Four 2? Fantastic Four second steps, I guess. I don't know. I'm very intrigued to see how this works out. If you've got any ideas of how Doomsday might play out, please do let me know. Dune Part 3, however, I was a Dune hater before 2026. I didn't like Dune Part 1. I tried watching it twice, gave up on it. I gave it like 2.5 stars. I was like, I don't get this. Sat through it in one day. I did Dune and Dune Part 2. I just locked in, phoned the other side of the room, and really, once you get stuck into the world building, oh my god, it's a cinematic masterpiece. They look incredible. I have both of them at a 4-star. I can understand why people have them at 5. The lore hasn't quite gripped me. I will revisit them before Dune Part 3, but I still think I can appreciate what a action masterpiece Denis Villeneuve has put together. And I've seen the first 4 or 5 minutes. The prologue runs before the Odyssey, and I was at the IMAX, BFI IMAX in London on Saturday, watching the Odyssey for a third time. And Christopher Nolan allowed Denis to run the first 4 and a bit minutes ahead of the Odyssey. The prologue of Dune Part 3. My god, that opening scene, I don't even know how to describe it to you. It's one of the most intense action set pieces of just a behemoth scale. It's beautiful. I mean, I would like the cinematography. It's difficult. The cinematography is really interesting because it's quite a bland, like sand dune background, and yet they just make it look so spectacular. It's like, how on earth do we put that together? So I'm pretty sure Greg Fraser had done the previous 2 Dune movies as the cinematographer, but isn't on this one. Let's have a look at cinematographer. Yeah, Greg Fraser had Dune Part 1 and Part 2, but he's busy, I believe, with Batman Part 2. Did Project Hail Mary as well. So who is the cinematographer for Dune Part 3? Because I wonder whether it will change much. Cinematographer is Linus Sandgren, who did La La Land, Saltburn, Don't Look Up, Wuthering Heights, Babylon, No Time to Die, First Man, American Hustle. Like, no matter what you think about those movies, they do objectively look great. I mean, Wuthering Heights looks fantastic. It's like the only saving grace of that film. So I'm excited, and I think this is, it's a great thing for him to sort of tackle. Will maybe propel him to the well-known status that Greg Fraser also has. So out of that list, I want to know which one you're most excited for. You can comment down below and be like, Oscar, I'm most excited for this movie. These are the ones I'm shouting out for the final 3 months of 2026. Don't Look Back in Anger, Oasis documentary. Resident Evil by Zach Cregger. Hope. Avengers Endgame Encore. Forgotten Island. Primetime. Digger. Whalefall. Clayface. Wildwood. Your Mother, Your Mother, Your Mother. Godzilla Minus Zero. Wild Horse 9. I Play Rocky. Fjord. Hunger Games Sunrise on the Reaping. Disney's Hexed, Behemoth, Doomsday, and Dune Part 3. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. I will be reviewing pretty much all of these movies, if not guaranteed all of these movies. We have a new podcast coming out on, I'm thinking Sunday. We're going to be talking about Ridley Scott and his new movie, Dog Stars, Teenage Sex and Death at Camp Miasma, Coty versus Acme, One Night Only, and maybe a couple other things in there, including Lanterns Episode 2. So that's very exciting. Make sure you stay up to date with all things film and TV by subscribing, following, rating the show 5 stars. I've got hiccups. I've been talking for 40 minutes straight. Remember, merch coming on Friday. If you follow me on TikTok, you can join a group chat. And if you go to my profile, it says groups. You click there, join the group chat. You can vote on what movies I watch in October. Now, in October, I'm doing 31 days of Halloween, which means every day for October, I will be watching a different spooky movie, which is going to be hard because London Film Festival is on during October. So I might do a little bit of pre-recording just to get ahead of the game. But nonetheless, we have some very exciting things to look forward to, including London Film Festival. I'll be there pretty much the entire time. I'll be vlogging it, reviewing everything I see, letting you guys know about the biggest and best and greatest movies from all over the globe coming to your eyes and ears in cinemas near you. That's it. A swift 30-something minute video to catch you guys up and make sure you're aware of all the movies coming later in 2026. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Subscribe, follow, and I'll see you soon.